What's up, YouTube? Welcome to part 11 of my Predator cosplay build series. Today I'm going to be making some spats that are meant to go over the feet that I made in a previous video, and to also fit with the thigh piece that I made in a previous video, so I can walk and function and move with all this stuff on. And before we get into the actual build, I wanted to give a quick shout out and a special thanks to Pretty and Violent Cosplay on Instagram. He commissioned me to do a Venom mask with a spring-loaded moving jaw. If you follow me on Instagram, you've probably seen some of those photos. And he sent me this awesome Enforcer Predator figure from NECA, and I'm really stoked on that. It also has some, of course, amazing detail, and is going to help me with putting some final touches on the costume and bringing everything together. Alright, so let's go ahead and jump right into the build. Okay, so I've cut out my front and rear parts for the left. I've already built the right, so we're going to be doing the left in this video. Same thing for the right, just opposite, flipped over. You know what I mean. So first thing I'm going to do is take my Drill Master heat gun and get these nice and hot and put some curvature in them, and I'm going to glue these two V-seams together. Right, I have heated and curved both pieces. I have glued together V-cuts on both, and I put some 1-inch wide polypro strapping in between the front and back half, and my preference is to have the Velcro go on the inside so that I can close it like this. And the next thing I'm going to do is use some contact cement and go ahead and add in my Velcro. Already know that my Velcro is on and my straps are on and everything is heated and curved. I'm going to start with the very bottom piece, which looks like this. And in order to get this on at the correct angle, I have to put on my Predator foot and put on the shin guard as it is to figure out the exact positioning, because when I'm walking, I don't want this front plate to be rubbing or catching on this and tripping me up. I want to have enough space when I'm walking. Not only is the foot covered, but I'm also able to move properly without having this thing snag up on here. So in order to figure out the angle of the bottom piece and where to place it, I have to first put on my Predator foot. Now, if you don't have Predator feet like this that are oversized, you can also make them, for example, out of a heavy work sock that you put over your shoe and cover with latex and add your own nails. There's a whole bunch of other techniques, but I work with foam, so I did this. If you don't have that, you don't even really need this flared bottom piece, to be quite honest. All you really could do, if you wished, was just add another one of these bottom front plates. That's all you'd have to do. But since I have the foot, I have to put this on my left foot, and I have to put on my shin guard and figure out exactly how to position this. Okay, so I've glued on my bottom piece, and to do this, I of course had to put on the shoe and this. And once I did set operation here, I took a Sharpie and marked roundabout where I wanted to actually glue it with contact cement, but then I also put a line running through the center just so I'd know how to line it up. Now, if you look at it, it looks belled out and goofy, and looks like some big cuff on some over-exaggerated, like, pirate boot. So, to get rid of that general shape, I'm going to heat the sides and flatten them out so that it doesn't look so goofy and obnoxious, much like I did on this one right here. Alright, so next is going to be these 4 center pieces here, and these all come in a small up to a slightly larger to the 4th. They gradually increase in size, and that is because this does as well. Now, when these get attached, they are meant to overlap on the sides, and this overlap is meant to help cover the straps, and on the opposite side, the Velcro, and give the illusion of actually being more close to being one piece as opposed to 2, or at least the illusion that you don't have some cheap straps and Velcro hooking all of this together. So I'm going to go ahead and glue on all 4 of those, and I match them up so that they are overlapping about 1/4 of an inch on either side. I don't want this riding up too high, because if this curved part here goes too high and over this, it is going to indent and look goofy. So I'm going to go ahead, I've got the first one on, I'm going to do the second, third, and fourth ones. Okay, now I've got all 4 pieces on both sides. And I have them side by side here, just to kind of point out here that I drew that straight line on both of these on the base piece here as a guide. But you'll notice neither of them go straight. This one has a slight curve this way on the right, and the one on the left I glued all these slightly offset so that they follow this line as well. And it will become more apparent whenever I attach the top piece here. However, before I do that, I'm going to take my scissors here. I'm just going to go ahead and trim off the excess on both sides because it is not needed. This will cover it, and then I'll put on the kneecap pieces 1 and 2, and I'll come back and show you how I heat form those. Okay, so all my main front pieces are on. So, starting with the 1/2 inch thick foam base, I of course added all the 5/16 foam starting from the bottom, and all 3 of these pieces, the red, the green, and the blue, all 3 of these top pieces, the kneecap 1 and 2, and the top, are all 5mm. And the rest of the 5mm pieces will be going on the back here, and they are the rear plates. Now, some of these I'm going to have to custom cut, because from the top to the bottom, they do vary in size, but I would rather free cut them so I can help cover the rest of this gap on either side. Over here, not so much, because remember, I overlapped this side a little bit more to help hide the polypro strapping. However, on this side of the Velcro is, same as on the right, I'm going to have this side overlap a little bit so it can help cover up all the Velcro. So I have put all the panels on the back here, all 6, and the very bottom of it I heated and curved out, and then I heated and curved the front of this. And if you've watched my other videos, you have a Predator upper thigh leg piece that I made in a video, a few videos back in the series, and I had to try that on with this to make sure that when I walked it wasn't going to catch on any of this, which of course it did. But by heating and bending this out, and I of course had to do this one on this one as well, it took it right out of the line whenever I walked so that it didn't catch anymore. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start to texture all this up, and to texture this I'm going to use a heat gun and also a wood burner. Okay, so this is what I meant by marking this all up and texturing it. I used my wood burner to stab into this and give it kind of a contrast and texture that I'll actually be painted a goldish color. The rest was all pretty much going to be silver, except for this is probably going to be gold too. And I've also used it to put a bunch of battle damage, scars, and things like that into it. And I'm going to do the same thing over here on the right one as well. And that's all I basically do with it. Now for this, you want to be careful. This wood burner that I have is pretty standard and generic, and it gets really hot really fast. Okay, so I have to constantly plug it in and unplug it, because once it gets too hot, it starts to sink too much into the foam whenever I'm doing this. But it's still hot enough that I can put scratches and gouges and cuts and things like that into the foam as well. Alright, now that everything's cut up and marked up and done and all together, I'm going to go ahead and use some Plastidip to seal this up. However, before I did this, I used some masking to cover the Velcro so that I don't get the Plastidip all over it. Alright, now the Plastidip is dried, I went ahead and primered it with some gloss black. I'll give it a little shine. And now I have some Wicked Colors, Wicked Silver by Createx Colors. And I've thinned that out pretty thin. I'm going to go ahead and use my airbrush to apply this. Alright, after the silver overspray, I applied some Wicked Gold from Wicked Colors, also by Createx. And as you'll notice, the gold I did really thin. This gold I think is pretty obnoxious. I don't put it on very thick. The other point is, too, I want a lot of the black to show through the actual metallic. And I feel like it gives it more of a realistic look. And there's actually a video you can look up from Stan Winston Studios. It's one of their free videos that shows them paint a Predator biohelmet with gloss black spray paint and then metallic overspray. So that's where I got the idea from, by the way, if anybody would want to look that up. And I will try to remember to link that in the description. If I don't, please leave a comment reminding me to do so, and I will fix that. And yeah, that's pretty much going to be it. Move the light around here on it a bit so y'all can see that. But yeah, that's going to wrap up this video. Okay, so that's pretty much going to wrap it up for this video. I hope you enjoyed today's video. And if you did, and you're not a subscriber, please consider subscribing. And maybe leaving a like as well. And as always, thanks for watching, and have a great day.